17. Most iconic muscle car designs. We love them. People spend millions trying to get their hands on these cars, and I'll tell you exactly why. $3.5 million for a 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda. That's what someone paid at auction. But what makes these cars worth more than a mansion? The raw power, the roar of the engine. Number, it's the design. These 17 muscle cars changed how we think about cars forever. And number 5 on this list might shock you. It wasn't even supposed to exist. I'm about to show you the most stunning muscle car designs ever made. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why collectors are willing to sell their houses just to own one. Back in the 1960s, car makers weren't playing it safe like they do today. They were taking risks, big ones. And that's exactly what created these masterpieces. Let's start with number 17, the 1968 Dodge Charger. You know this car. Even if you think you don't, you do. That sleek body, hidden headlights, and that iconic grille that looks like it's ready to eat the road. The designers actually fought with management to keep those hideaway headlights. Good thing they won, because without them, we wouldn't have one of the most recognizable front ends in car history. Number 16 might surprise you. The 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS. Now, lots of people will say this isn't the best-looking Chevelle. But here's what they're missing. Look at those twin racing stripes running over the hood. See how they complement the twin headlights? That wasn't an accident. The designers spent months getting that perfect balance of aggression and grace. Moving to number 15, the 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 429. Ford took their already beautiful Mustang and did something crazy. They basically stuffed the biggest engine they could find into it. But here's what makes it special. They had to bulge the hood so much to fit that massive 429 engine. They accidentally created one of the most intimidating hood designs ever. Sometimes the best designs come from solving problems. Number 14, the 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird. Want to talk about crazy? This car looks like it belongs in a cartoon. That massive wing on the back. It's taller than most kitchen tables. Engineers said they needed it for racing. But let's be real. They could have made it half as tall and it would have worked fine. They went big because they knew it would turn heads. And guess what? We're still talking about it today. Number 13, the 1967 Pontiac GTO. This is where things get interesting. The GTO wasn't trying to be the fastest or the most powerful. It was trying to be the coolest. Those stacked headlights, the way the body curves like an hourglass. This wasn't just a muscle car. This was rolling art. Number 12, the 1969 Dodge Daytona. The sister car to the Superbird, but with its own personality. That nose cone wasn't just for show. It helped this car become the first stock car to break 200 miles per hour. But look closely at how the body lines flow from front to back. Pure poetry in steel. Number 11, the 1970 Oldsmobile 442. Most people forget about this one, and that's a crime. The design team at Oldsmobile took a different approach. Instead of going wild with scoops and spoilers, they created something clean and elegant. But those bulging fenders tell you this car means business. Number 10, the 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Z28. Now we're getting into the heavy hitters. The 69 Camaro is what happens when you get everything right. The long hood, short deck, wide stance. It's perfect from every angle. And those rally stripes, they don't just look good. They make the hood look even longer and meaner. Number 9, the 1970 Ford Mustang Boss 302. Different from its 429 brother, the 302 was the athlete of the family. Smaller engine, but check out those hockey stick stripes. They make the car look like it's moving even when it's parked. That's smart design. Number 8, the 1968 Plymouth Road Runner. Before the crazy wing of the Superbird, Plymouth kept things simple. But simple doesn't mean boring. The clean lines and no-nonsense approach made this car look tough without trying too hard. And that little Roadrunner cartoon badge? Pure genius. It told everyone this car doesn't take itself too seriously. Number 7. The 1970 Dodge Challenger RT. Dodge was late to the pony car party, but they made up for it with this beauty. The split grille. The way the bodyline kicks up at the rear quarter panel. It's like they took all the best design elements from other muscle cars and perfected them. Number 6. The 1966 Shelby GT 350. Carroll Shelby didn't just modify Mustangs, he made them legendary. The GT 350's design is a masterclass in restraint. Just the right amount of stripes, just the right amount of badges. Nothing extra, nothing wasted. Now, number 5. The 1964 Pontiac GTO. Remember when I said this one wasn't supposed to exist? General Motors had rules about putting big engines in medium-sized cars. The GTO broke those rules. The design had to be subtle enough to not attract attention from GM executives, but aggressive enough to attract buyers. Threading that needle created an icon. Number 4. The 1971 Plymouth Hemi CUDA. Remember that $3.5 million car I mentioned? This is it. The 71 CUDA is what happens when designers stop worrying about practicality. That shaker hood scoop, those gill-like side vents, the fish-inspired name. It shouldn't work, but it does. It really does. Number 3. The 1967 Shelby GT 500. The car that starred in Gone in 60 Seconds didn't need a movie to be famous. Those 2 wide stripes over the top, the sequential taillights, the low-slung body. This car looks fast standing still. And those side exhaust pipes? Pure theater. Number 2. The 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona. Different from the standard Charger, the Daytona took aerospace inspiration to the extreme. That nose cone and wing weren't just for NASCAR. They made this the most recognizable muscle car ever. Only 503 were made. Today, they're worth millions. And finally, number 1. The 1967 Ford Mustang GT 500 KR. The king of the road. This wasn't just Eleanor from the movies. This was Carroll Shelby's masterpiece. The scoops, the stripes, the stance. Everything about this car screams power and beauty. It's not just a muscle car, it's automotive perfection. These 17 designs didn't just change cars. They changed American culture. They showed us that cars could be more than transportation. They could be dreams made of steel and glass. Want to see more automotive history? Hit subscribe. I've got something special coming up about the Japanese cars that tried to copy these legends. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.